Hey, good morning everyone. So today we're working actually on a Stihl trimmer, FS 80. As you can see, hopefully you can see it. There it is. Problem with it is, alright, here's the FS 80. So the problem with it is I have fresh gasoline put in. Hope you guys can see it. Let's see if I can open it here with one hand. So there's plenty of gasoline still in. And the problem is it doesn't prime. So the prime can be two reasons. This one was not used for the winter season. So one can be that this bulb can be bad, and when you push you hear that air is actually being forced into the tank to actually suck up the gasoline. But I think there's a hair crack in it, and so what I'm gonna do here in a second, I'm gonna show you guys the whole thing and I'm gonna speed it up, is actually how to change it out. So let me position the camera for you guys and you can keep watching. I'm gonna speed it up till it's done. The parts itself, you can buy it in a 10-pack. I put a link in the description below. You can buy it on Amazon. You can also buy it on eBay and other websites, but I bought it on Amazon, got it with Prime within 2 days, shipped over, so I'll fix that. Let's see if there's anything else bad, and let's get this puppy back started, and then I'm gonna show you guys how to actually change also the head out from the string to a blade, because what I also bought is actually a brush cutting blade, and it's a 3T which I bought, which goes on here. It's a 10-inch in diameter. Let's see if I can open up the package already for you guys. Got that also on Amazon. It's like $10 or something around that corner. So that goes actually underneath, and this cuts brush and not only grass. So it has 3 little edges here. They're not super sharp, they don't have to, but that takes care of your brushes. So any limbs which are like 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch thick should be cut through with this. So I'll later on show you guys also in the field how to do that. It's most likely a separate video, but that's what I have. So let me get going, let me get started, let me set up the camera here for you guys, and then you guys can watch me doing this. I'll speed up the video so you will not hear too much sound to it, but stay tuned. Okay, so now I'm taking the Stihl trimmer apart. Took a look at the filter and noticed that there was some water inside, but that was the only thing that was there on the air intake. Maybe time to change the filters. I might do that later on, but for now they just stay where they are. Now I take off the cover, which is held in place by 2 Torx screws, T25s. One in the front, one in the back. That takes care of the cover. This way I have easy access to actually take a look what's going on. The bulb looks old and worn, so I decided to actually replace it with a new one. A pack of 10 of these primer bulbs you can actually get off of Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below also for the gas hoses which I use, and I actually like those a lot since they're transparent pretty much. They just have a yellow to it for the UV protection, but they coming in metric and imperial descriptions see on it, which is nice. Each is I think 10 foot long or something like that. That's where it just showed the old versus the new bulb, so they're exact diameter. A little bit bigger, a little higher is the new one, which I prefer actually. Yeah, so I reassemble everything, making sure that the vacuum is produced, the suction power is working, and looks like the hose which I pulled out was not the suction hose, it's actually the return hose. That's the one which I replaced first. There you see actually me showing the 4-pack telling actually is 3 millimeter inner diameter and 5 millimeter outer diameter is the hose which I use on both lines at the end. First I was thinking that the gas supply line would need a bigger one, but fooled myself, so I used the same. You'll see it later on in the video. So when you jam into the gas tank, there are two openings for the lines. The line in, just make sure that it is really snug in there so that there's no gas leaking out of it, because even it's a rubber seal around it, not always there's a rubber seal around it, but make sure that they're snug so the gasoline is not dripping out. You have it lopsided. Just showing how I ran the hose, make sure that the hose is not too long and not too short. And here in a minute I go ahead and actually remove the air intake cover altogether. It's an 8 millimeter socket, and when I take a look also at the gas hose for the air intake, for the gas intake, I noticed that that one actually broke in half when I started wiggling on it. I decided to replace that with the same diameter. I was first trying to use a different diameter because of the gas filter, which is actually at the end of the hose, which is sitting in the tank. You'll see it later on in the video. But make sure that that one is sitting pretty much 2/3 in the tank, so that it actually, when you tilt your trimmer, that you're actually still getting the gasoline from one side or the other. If it's too long, it starts kinking inside of the gas tank. If it's too short, it's not reaching it when you tilt it. But you'll see it when you play around with it. But that's pretty much so. Watch and enjoy. I come back with comments as I get along. So now I actually, sorry, I removed the and showed the gas hose piece which was broken off. So now I remove the starter, which is held also in place with two additional T25s, which also is sandwiching in the gas tank. Once you have that removed, you can actually just slide out the gas tank and actually clean up the gas tank, which I've done while I have it already out. You see it's pretty nasty, which is normal from the normal use. So I used an oven cleaner and I think carb cleaner, and ended up with, I think, degreaser. But whatever you use, just make sure that it doesn't eat through your HDPE plastic, which is what the gas tank is made out of. And just use some paper towels and go to town on it. Won't get everything off, but definitely a good portion, which is what I was aiming for, because I use this trimmer on a daily basis, more or less on a daily basis actually. Also, when you have debris inside a gas tank, which you cannot just shake out because it's still stuck somewhere, use some carburetor cleaner. Just spray it in, liquefies what's inside, and then it just flushes it out. You can pour carburetor cleaner actually on the floor. It just evaporates very quickly, so it's not really any harm. Later on in this whole process, I found out that the starter coil, which you see there on top, actually went bad, and so this whole project was meant to be just one day and turned out to be a couple days, because I had to order over Amazon Prime also the starter replacement, which cost me around $12, $13. After I changed that out, it will just fire right up. Had some issues with it running due to the fact that I had still some old gasoline sitting in the line, in the header, but also that my gas mix, I used the wrong gas mix, which was, I think I used a 40 or 50-10 and had a little bit too much of the oil in it. You might see it later on, but that was why the engine was not performing 100%. Once I changed it over to the right consistency, everything just I'm just fine. There I take the choke apart. The choke is a lever. You see there in orange red. It's a little plastic piece which, once you engage it, it just closes off the air intake. It draws more gasoline to start. Alright, so this one is already in place, as you guys can see. Let me just get my menu here out. Alright, so this guys is already hooked up. It's hanging in there just right. Might be a little too much in. I can turn it. And so now I have to get out last piece of hose. Maybe you guys can see it. There it is. So the way I do it is just poke it in, since there's no gasoline in. Get it out. And there's the other piece we saw earlier. So there it goes. You see the gas is in. So that's all it took. Was a broken gas hose. So now I can reassemble everything. And I'm gonna see that it starts. That's one reason why I like everything in clear, so I can actually see what's going on, because I saw how the gasoline was actually being drawn up in the tube. Where with the black one, which, yeah, is okay if for UV protection purpose, but you can't see what's going on inside, so personal preference. So this one goes back in. This one needs a little bit of a bend, so make sure that you get one which is new enough so it goes in and stays in. Oops, gasoline tank. Go back into your holding pins, and this puppy goes back on. Little trick on the reassembly before I forget to show you guys. So now you can see me. Turn you guys around. is when you reassemble, put this screw in first so it holds actually it's in place. Then get your ground slash stop wire safety loop in here with the screw and screw those two down. Take this one back out, get the cover on, and you should be good. So there you guys, put it back on the stand and get this all so all looks good. Also, here's a slit in the case which holds both wires, the spark plug wire and also your throttle wire. So just make sure that those go back into that space, otherwise you might break your spark plug wire or kink it so much that it will break eventually. And then there's for dummies like me, inner side and outer side. Make sure the inner side goes to the inner part, because I was about to put it on incorrectly. And then from the bottom part, you just feed in, and that should be it. So let's see if it starts. Not sure if I can start it here, but let's see. It's in start. Yep. So now you see me actually trying to crank up the engine and get it to start. First I was thinking I didn't got the gasoline in the carburetor correctly, so I put some soda fluid in. But that's not what it is. It turned out to be actually the starter coil. So I have to take it apart again and checking if I get with the spark plug spark, which I didn't. At this time I knew I had to order myself a new starter coil, which is like $13 on Amazon. You can order as Prime. I was lucky on that. So it took me 2 days to get the part, and so in a few you're going to see actually just jumping to different camera positions, because it's 2 days further. Then actually replacing then the starter and getting the engine to start fairly quick after just changing and adjusting it. I put a feeler gauge in for the space between the flywheel and actually the starter. It's an 0.40 distance, which you need on both coils to actually make them spark correctly. But that's pretty much it. Everything else is then just setting up the engine. There you see me putting the feeler gauge in, just trying to adjust it correctly, because I noticed there was a bigger gap than there should be, but still didn't make a difference. So I had to replace actually the starter coil. So now we are at the couple days down when I actually got the starter coil in, and you see me actually replacing now the starter coil. Sorry for the wrong camera angle on that, but all there is actually the two Torx screws which you have to remove, and one wire which goes into your handle to close the circuit. And it's again a T25 Torx screw. Just unscrew it, take it off. The part comes with the wire for the spark plug connector. So you just swap it out, put the new one in place, put your feeler gauge. It's an 0.04 space you need on the feeler gauge between the starter coil and the coil itself. And after I changed that out, and you see me just screwing everything back together, it fired up right away. You'll see it here in a few. One thing which is a little bit different is actually, as you can see, the starter coil's wire to the spark plug is a little bit different. The spark plug hookup is a little bit different as well, but it fits very nicely. It's a good quality. I paid only 13 bucks over Amazon. I'll put the link for that in the description so you guys can buy it as well. And you just have to make the proper spacing, put it in, start it, put it in the starter position, and you start it right up, fired up, was running fine. I had some old gas still in, so I shut it off really quick, and in a few we're gonna go over actually to a patch of grass in my front yard, which I actually started trimming. That's why I done this. And so there you go. So now I'm speeding up the video again. Just high and low on the carburetor. What I noticed is I put in actually the wrong gas mix, so it was stalling out a little bit. I added some better gasoline to it to get the mix just right. I had too much oil in it, which clogged up the engine. But now you can see that it actually works fine the way it should be. So I hope you liked the video. I'll post more videos like this and also welding videos as I'm moving forward. So please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.